Remember the 90s? Big hair, acid wash jeans and jackets, parachute pants? Well, that's the setting for today's film. This is the Kazdoy Closet. I'm Kazdoy. That's my closet, full of all the stuff that I love. And today, a film from 1991 starring a real-life celebrity couple. Let's check it out. Today's film is Mortal Thoughts from 1991, about an hour and 45 minutes long, in color. This begins with a woman in a police station talking to two detectives. She's giving a statement about her friend who's just been arrested for murder. Then the rest of the film alternates between her giving her statement and then flashbacks of her telling the story of what happened to her friend and how she was involved in it as well. The main character is played by Demi Moore. She was coming off the huge success of the film Ghost. She's fine in this film. Maybe it's just me, but I don't know why she keeps her mouth open all the time for almost 75% of the film. It was distracting to me. I kept thinking, close your mouth, Demi, what are you doing? But maybe that's just me. Glenn Headley plays her friend who is convicted of killing her husband. She was just from filming Dick Tracy, the Warren Beatty film. And then the husband who was murdered is played by Demi Moore's real-life husband at the time, Bruce Willis. Now, this character is completely abusive in every way possible, completely obnoxious. He's got zero redeeming qualities, and it's a ridiculous character. It's a cartoon character, and Bruce Willis is terrible in it. He was just coming off of Die Hard, and I have no problem with Bruce Willis's acting or anything, but he's a little too pretty, I think, for this role, but he is totally unconvincing in this role, and he's walking around with a backwards baseball cap and a tank top, an Italian accent that kind of comes and goes, a goatee that looks like maybe it was glued on or something, and it's really an awful performance and a ridiculous character. It's the weakest spot in the film by far. One of the detectives, on the other hand, is played by Harvey Keitel. It's a small part, but Harvey Keitel is just always great. And he's great in this, even though he doesn't have a whole lot to do. But he's acting on kind of a different level than the other people are. This was directed by Alan Rudolph. And when I think of Alan Rudolph, I think of him as a Robert Altman protege. And that is evident in his early films, such as Welcome to LA and Choose Me and Remember My Name, very Altman-esque. After those, he really didn't do any kind of Altman-esque films, more standard stuff. So this has been categorized, according to this box set that I'll get into in a little bit, as a neo-noir. I'm not sure how much of a neo-noir this is. I mean, there is a murder involved. There is a flashback structure. Visually, you're not going to see much of a noir look to this. A couple of sequences here and there are kind of interesting. A couple of shots are interesting. Otherwise, it's pretty straightforward. The dialogue is nothing special. You're not going to get that noir, hard-boiled dialogue, cynical, clever turns of phrase or wittiness, and nothing like that's going to come in here. In fact, I would say that about halfway through the film, I thought to myself, and I wrote this down, I thought, everybody in this film's an idiot. Except for the Harvey Keitel character. He knows right away something's wrong as the detective. But they just do dumb stuff. Now, I'm a big fan of films where people commit crimes and then they try to cover it up. And you try to figure out how they're going to get caught in their cover-up. I like those films. And that's what happens here. But the cover-up is so lame. And they just do dumb stuff. I'll give you an example. At one point, Demi Moore has to hide a gun for her friend. So she puts it in a brown paper bag and she carries it into her house. She doesn't hide it anywhere. She carries it right in front of her. Her two little kids are there. Her husband's there. A friend of the family's there. She's walking around the house holding this bag. Finally, she puts it on the counter about 5 feet away from her little girl who's maybe 4 years old. And of course, she's going to go right to that bag right away and try to open it. And it's just dumb. There's just dumb things like that happening here, which doesn't really make sense. There's a surprise ending, and I'm not that great at predicting endings. I'd say 50-50. This one's pretty obvious. You know something's up because, for one thing, this Demi Moore character is telling everything from her point of view. And Harvey Keitel is suspicious right away and it just sounds like nothing's going to add up. And that's basically what it is. So, it's entertaining. I wasn't bored by it. I wasn't real impressed by it, but it's average. So I'm going to give it 2.5 Ferris wheels out of 5. Why Ferris wheels? Because that's where the murder of the Bruce Willis character takes place at a carnival, and there's a big Ferris wheel going on. So let's take a look at what's on this disc. This is an imprint disc, and it comes from this box set that I've shown you before, After Dark, the neo-noir collection number 1. And the first one I talked about on this was After Dark, My Sweet, which is a far, far superior film. But that's where it comes from, and the picture quality is fine. It's not going to blow you away, but it's fine. The audio also is fine. There are a few extras on here. There's a commentary track, which I did not listen to. There are some interviews that run about 15 to 20 minutes long each. An interview with the executive producer, the director Taylor Hackford is the executive producer of that. You have an interview with the production designer and the art director, and an interview with the music composer Mark Isham, and he's just great. He's done so much television and movie work, and his soundtrack for this, he plays trumpet a lot, and he has his own albums doing that. But his soundtrack is probably the most noirish aspect of this film, because he has a very plaintive trumpet sound, and really enjoyed that. So where can you see Immortal Thoughts? Well, I don't see it listed for sale individually on Amazon, but maybe you can find it somewhere else. So I don't think you can buy it unless you want to buy that whole box set, if you can find it. But you can rent it, I'm sure, and even try your local library. Since it is from 1991, you might be able to find it there. So the next film in this set, I'm just gonna kind of plow through this, is Rush, and I have some pretty high expectations for that one. I hadn't seen it since it came out decades ago, but I remember liking it. So we're gonna shoot for that in an upcoming episode. So hope you like this episode, and feel free to leave a comment or suggestion down below. Leave a thumbs up. Don't leave a thumbs down. Subscribe would be great. Share this with your friends and neighbors. Otherwise, thanks so much for watching. Thank you all for subscribing. See you next time.